At this point, it's over. That whole Sky Barbie thing, that thing is over. Angel Reese is done in Chicago. They're going to move on. They have to.
Angel Reese has never been afraid to speak her mind, but this time, it may have cost her more than she realized. The drama started when Reese made pointed comments about her own teammate, Courtney Vandersloot, a veteran point guard with one of the most respected resumes in the WNBA. Reese didn't just question Vandersloot's current performance. She questioned her age, her reliability, and whether she should even be leading the team anymore. For fans, it was shocking. Vandersloot isn't just another player. She's a champion, an all-star, and one of the greatest passers the league has ever seen. For years, she's been the type of veteran younger players dream of learning from. So to hear a rookie call her out so publicly didn't just feel bold, it felt reckless. Inside the locker room, the tension was immediate. Reports claim several teammates were stunned, some even angry that Reese would disrespect a legend who had done so much for the game. For a team already battling inconsistency, this was the last thing the Chicago Sky needed. And for Reese herself, those words lit a fire she couldn't control. Because once you question a legend, you don't just spark a debate, you start a war. Courtney Vandersloot didn't need to scream, rant, or throw shade. Her clapback came with the kind of quiet authority only a veteran can deliver. When asked about the comments, Vandersloot stayed calm. She didn't call out Reese by name, and she didn't make it personal. Instead, she reminded everyone of what she's always brought to the game: leadership, consistency, and a career defined by winning. "My age is not a factor," she said. "I've been counted out before, and every single time, I've come back stronger." That one line flipped the conversation completely. Suddenly, Reese's comments looked less like confidence and more like immaturity. Fans praised Vandersloot's professionalism, calling her the definition of class. Analysts highlighted her resume: WNBA champion, multiple-time All-Star, one of the most reliable point guards the league has ever seen. Meanwhile, Reese was left looking reckless. Instead of questioning Vandersloot's future, critics began questioning Reese's respect for the game itself. On social media, fans drew comparisons. One player built her reputation on years of hard work and respect. The other seemed to be tearing hers down in just a few months. And while Vandersloot kept her composure, the Chicago Sky locker room was anything but calm. Because this wasn't just about two players anymore. It was about the entire team. Behind the scenes, the Chicago Sky locker room was boiling. Veterans who had been holding the team together were frustrated. Younger players were caught in the middle, unsure whether to side with the outspoken rookie or the respected veteran. And coaches were left scrambling to calm a situation that was quickly slipping out of control. The front office tried to act fast, handing Angel Reese a suspension. But instead of sending a strong message, it only made things worse. Why? Because it wasn't even a full game. Reese was benched for half a game, a punishment so light that many fans and analysts saw it as a joke. The backlash was instant. Commentators called it a slap on the wrist. Fans accused the Sky of protecting their marketable young star instead of holding her accountable. And teammates, according to reports, were left wondering if leadership had completely lost control. For a team already fighting to stay competitive, the drama was devastating. Trust inside the locker room began to fracture. Some players didn't want to speak out publicly, but the silence said enough. When you disrespect a veteran like Vandersloot, and then barely face consequences, it sends the message that chaos is running the team. And in professional sports, once you lose the locker room, it's almost impossible to get it back. But the fallout didn't stop there, because this wasn't just about punishment, it was about reputation. And for Angel Reese, the damage was only beginning. Angel Reese came into the WNBA with more than just a game. She came with a brand. The Sky Barbie persona, the confidence, the swagger. It all made her stand out as one of the most marketable rookies in years. Fans loved her boldness, companies saw dollar signs, and the Chicago Sky leaned heavily on her personality to sell tickets. But that brand started to crack the moment she went after Courtney Vandersloot. Instead of being seen as confident, she was now being labeled as arrogant. Instead of being celebra, Ted is outspoken, she was being criticized as disrespectful. What had once been her biggest strength, her unapologetic personality, was suddenly becoming her biggest weakness. And social media made it worse. Reese's fan base, who call themselves Reese's Pieces, flooded comment sections with attacks on Vandersloot and other critics. But instead of protecting her image, it backfired. Neutral fans and even some Sky supporters began pushing back, calling her fan base toxic and accusing Reese of encouraging the negativity. At the same time, comparisons to Caitlin Clark grew louder. While Clark was praised for staying composed under pressure and letting her play do the talking, Reese was being dragged into headlines for all the wrong reasons. One rookie was being called the future of the league. The other was being labeled a distraction. For Reese, the problem wasn't just bad PR. It was a question of trust. Could her teammates, coaches, and even sponsors rely on her if the drama kept overshadowing her production on the court? And that's where the bigger picture started to emerge. Because in professional sports, reputation doesn't just shape headlines. It shapes careers.
Well, it goes to show, if you're going to go at a legend, you better not miss. As we know, Angel Reese come out this week. She absolutely crushed her own teammates into the dust, and she even decided to go after a legend, the legendary Courtney Vandersloot, who, of course, blew out her ACL at the beginning of the season, and she is in the midst of making a comeback. And, of course, Angel Reese made some comments that were none too kind to a legend.
When drama spills into the locker room, it doesn't just affect one season. It can change the future of an entire franchise. The Chicago Sky are supposed to be building for the future, with Angel Reese as one of the centerpieces. But after this controversy, a much bigger question is being asked. Who would actually want to play alongside her? Free agency in the WNBA is already competitive. Veterans want stability. They want respect. They want to join a culture that values winning over chaos. And right now, the Sky don't look like that kind of team. Reese's clash with Courtney Vandersloot is more than a personal feud. Vandersloot represents the kind of player Chicago will need to attract if they want to contend. Experienced veterans who know how to win championships. But if younger stars are seen as disrespecting legends, why would any veteran choose to walk into that environment? Analysts have even compared Reese's situation to players like Draymond Green in the NBA. Fiery, emotional, and unafraid of confrontation. But here's the difference. Draymond could get away with it because he had championships and a dynasty behind him. Reese doesn't. She's a rookie with potential, but no rings, no playoff pedigree, and no track record to justify the chaos. And that's where the danger lies. Because if the Sky can't attract veterans in free agency, they risk wasting the prime of their young players. And if the drama continues, Reese could find herself on an island. Marketable, yes, but surrounded by a team that can't win. The WNBA is a league built on trust and chemistry. And right now, trust is the one thing the Chicago Sky are running out of. The WNBA is in one of the most important growth phases in its history. With Caitlin Clark drawing record-breaking viewership, Aja Wilson cementing her dominance, and rookies like Cameron Brink and Angel Reese bringing in new fans, the league has more attention than ever before. But not all attention is good attention. While Clark's presence has been about highlights, ticket sales, and a new wave of fans, Angel Reese has been pulling headlines for all the wrong reasons. The WNBA wants stories of growth, unity, and rising stars. Instead, it's dealing with locker room drama, suspensions, and questions about respect for its veterans. And that's a problem, because when the league finally has momentum, the last thing it needs is one of its most marketable young players being seen as a source of chaos. Reports suggest that the WNBA itself isn't thrilled with how this has played out. While they'll never say it publicly, league officials know that sponsorships and partnerships rely on image as much as performance. A player who constantly sparks controversy can scare away the kind of mainstream support the WNBA is fighting to secure. Meanwhile, the media has run with the story. Headlines pit Reese against Vandersloot, talk shows debate whether Reese is good for the league or bad for it. And every time her name trends, it's less about her double-doubles and more about what she said or did off the court. It's the exact opposite of the narrative the league wants. And that raises the big question. Can Angel Reese get her story back under control before the damage becomes permanent?
Angel Reese will be lucky if she has a third of the career that Courtney Vandersloot has had. I don't think it was Kennedy Carter that blew that locker room up. I think it was Angel Reese. There, I said it out loud. I think it was continuous drama.
For Angel Reese, the next chapter of her career might be the most important, because the choices she makes now could define whether she becomes a true superstar or just another cautionary tale. The Chicago Sky brought her in as a cornerstone for the future, but after this controversy, whispers have already started. Is she worth the headache? Could the Sky actually trade her if the drama continues? Some reports claim the front office still believes in her long-term potential. She's young, talented, marketable, and still learning the pro game. But the problem isn't her ability, it's the noise. If the locker room continues to fracture, the team may have no choice but to consider moving on, especially if veterans refuse to play alongside her. Speculation online has already pointed to possible destinations. Could a team with a stronger veteran culture, like the Las Vegas Aces or the Seattle Storm, keep her in check? Or would smaller market teams be willing to take the gamble for her star power, even if it comes with risk? But here's the truth. No matter where she plays, Angel Reese's future will come down to one thing: balance. Can she balance the confidence and personality that made her a household name with the respect and maturity it takes to succeed at the professional level? Because if she can't, the league won't wait around. In the WNBA, talent gets you noticed, but reputation determines how long you last. And right now, Reese's reputation is hanging by a thread. When Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA together, fans thought their rivalry would define the next decade of women's basketball. Two college stars, two massive personalities, two rookies expected to carry the league into a new era. But now, just one season in, the contrast couldn't be sharper. Caitlin Clark has faced her share of challenges: hard fouls, off-swears, media pressure, the weight of being the league's most marketed player. But through it all, she's managed to keep the focus on her game. She's breaking viewership records, selling out arenas, and proving she can deliver under pressure. Sponsors love her, fans rally behind her, and teammates respect her leadership even in tough moments. Angel Reese, on the other hand, is battling a very different narrative. Instead of being celebrated for her performance, she's become the face of drama. Instead of being praised for resilience, she's criticized for immaturity. While Clark is being positioned as the future of the WNBA, Reese is now at risk of being seen as a cautionary tale, a player whose brand may burn brighter than her actual impact. And that's the danger. Because in the WNBA, where opportunities are limited and every roster spot is precious, the league doesn't just reward talent. It rewards consistency, professionalism, and respect for the game. Clark and Reese will always be linked, but as of now, one looks like the cornerstone of a new era, while the other is fighting to prove she belongs in it.
I would be highly surprised if Angel Reese is on the Chicago Sky's roster come the start of the 2026 or the 2027 season. The Chicago Sky, they might be saying to themselves, Angel Reese just isn't worth the headache that she is causing.
Angel Reese wanted to be the face of the Chicago Sky. Instead, her clash with Courtney Vandersloot has left her fighting for something much more basic: respect. What started as a few words about age and leadership spiraled into a suspension, a fractured locker room, and a reputation problem that may follow her for years. Vandersloot, with just a few calm sentences, reminded the entire league what real leadership looks like. And in doing so, she exposed just how far Reese still has to go. For the Sky, the decision is looming. Do they double down on Reese, hoping she matures into the star they drafted her to be? Or do they cut their losses before the drama tears the team apart even further? For Reese, the choice is even bigger. She can lean into the noise, letting her brand overshadow her game, or she can grow from this moment and prove she's more than just controversy. Because in the WNBA, talent opens the door. But respect keeps you in the room, and right now, Angel Reese is one step away from being pushed out of it. The only question left is simple. Will the Chicago Sky give her another chance, or has she already run out of time?